I'm here with Brian Coleman. Is an old friend of mine. He's well, not actually. You're not that old a friend, really, are you? You
No,
feel
no,
like an old friend.
yeah.
But I'm going to make him a coffee. Brian's really involved with men's mental health, so I wanted to make him coffee. Find out more about what he does in that and why he got into that. So using an Ethiopian Sidamo um, from Unground Coffee. It's done by Kit Barker, who is an older friend of mine, and he roasts Simona Vale. We've got 13 grams of coffee that I'm just grinding up in this thing, which is a bit of a weighty hand grinder. Actually, I didn't have my thing going. So that thing's supposed to heat up. That's going to be there real quick though anyway. So, well, we've got our paper filter there. I just got to put a fold on there. Chuck that in the top here. Like that. First, before we do that, before we do the coffee bit, I've got to just wet the filter. See that?
That's incredible.
This helps get rid of any of the crap that might be on the paper or whatever, and preheats everything. And I'm just going to ditch that water on the pavement, straight on the pavement. And I've ground up my coffee. So now what I need to do is put this on the scales here. These scales are not actually 100% ideal. I'm making do with what I got. It isn't much, but I don't need a lot. Okay, so I'm gonna just tap that 13 grams of freshly ground light roast coffee onto there.
What's this process called?
It's called Pourover. I should have said that. This is a V60 Pourover. That's just the thing that this thing's called. So now we're going to just gently pour in here until we get up to.
And where's the Ethiopian beans from? Like, where in Ethiopia? Do you
Sidamo.
Sidamo?
Did I not say that?
Is there any particular reason why you choose Sidamo?
I picked it because it was stuff that was in the best roast period. So my job is to get the most out of the coffee, and I'm still learning about pour over. My expertise is more in espresso, but this is something I'm really interested in. With espresso, you're going to have 3 different origins that are designed to taste a certain way, whereas with a pour over like this, it's more about just experiencing the flavor of that country and that season. So depending on how well that season went with rainfall, sunshine, what the weather was, it'll have a completely different yield, similar to wine. So then they'll do micro lots. So we had a great season. Everyone will try it, and then people bid on it. So different coffee companies will get it, and one coffee company that has an awesome relationship with these guys might say, "Let me have all of that." And so then they have all of that. So with these, it ends up being you're not trying to achieve a certain type of flavor as much as you're just getting the most out of that bean to try and get the flavor characteristics of that region into the cup.
It's really interesting.
So I'm going to be learning more about Ethiopian Sidamo. And I don't have the best language to describe this stuff, so I might rely on your description, Paolo. Now, something else I might do for you quickly. I saw some people did this at a cafe, and I really like this. That not only to give you a cup, but to grind up a little bit. And just give it to you in a small ramekin or container so that you can have a comparison of aromas to see how well I've translated that into the cup. Now I've got these cups here
Amazing.
for us. Let's pick that up from Vinny's. So now I should have somewhere to put that, but I'm just going to put that behind me here. I'm going to get this off here. Just a little bit to begin with, because it is going to improve as it gets cooler. So that'll give you an opportunity to just sniff that and smell what you think.
And is it important to do a comparison of the two smells, or?
It's not important at all. Like, well, it's just interesting just to see. 'Cause what happens with a lot of people with coffee is that you love the smell of coffee, freshly ground, but a lot can go wrong in between it being freshly ground and then putting water to it and then drinking it. It can get bitter or under extracted. So it's just a comparison to see, is that sweet smell being translated into the cup?
Yeah, I can definitely see what you mean. You can actually smell. You can smell the smell actually of the bean, and it's almost exactly. But you can actually smell the difference with the slight water smell in it, but it's not burnt. It's sweet.
Reasonably well balanced, maybe a little bit light bodied compared to other things that I've tried in the way that I've made it, and that's kind of my fault, my journey with it, but definitely very fruity.
It's definitely light in texture.
It's still quite flavoursome.
Flavoursome.
It's different to espresso, and the espresso can be very punchy and just like, and a lot can go wrong. Whereas this is kind of almost like, would you say, like a tea, coffee type thing, flavoursome. It just brings out a different flavour profile during this particular style.
Was there any specific reason why you chose these chalices? You called them?
I just thought it was cool. I saw him in a Vinny's, and I picked them up. So I don't know. Like ordinarily, this sort of thing, or I think what is actually best is like a Shiraz glass, so that the aromas of the coffee can come up to the nose and hold it. Whereas this is quite open. A lot of the aroma can escape. So this is kind of largely a visual thing that I thought I'd try it and experiment and see how you react to it. I'm going to experiment with a bunch of different things as we keep doing this. But
cool.
But for now, that's what I've done. I'm just going to grab a seat, sit down, and we'll finish the rest of this.
Sounds great.
Yeah, look at